Sí, jefe, no te preocupes, no te preocupes. Voy a la oficina ahora mismo. Mamá, me voy. Hasta luego. It's a joke, it's a joke. I'm not living with my mom, I swear. And if I was in Spain, that would be quite normal. Hola, soy Alejandro de KeySpanish. And in today's lesson, we're going to learn about the difference between ir and irse, entre voy and me voy, and also the difference between irse and salir. We can translate the verb ir as to go in English, and in the present tense, the form would be yo voy, tú vas, él, ella, usted va, nosotros vamos, vosotros vais, ellos, ellas, ustedes van. And then you have irse, you add this se, this would be a reflexive pronoun, and then the meaning of this verb changes. These kind of verbs that change meaning when you add the pronoun se are called pronominal verbs. That's not important for now. And we can translate this as to leave. And you simply add, again, the reflexive pronoun to it. So instead of yo voy, you would say yo me voy, te vas, se va, nos vamos, os vais, y se van. So quite straightforward, right? Just ir to go, irse to leave. Not so fast. Look at these two sentences in English. When are you leaving? And I have to go. How would you translate this to Spanish? In English, you are using two different verbs. You are using to leave and to go. Well, in Spanish, when are you leaving would be cuando te vas. But I have to go es tengo que irme. So you see, we are using irse in both cases. We are not translating leaving as, well, we are translating living as irse, but not go as ir. Go is also irse in Spanish. So here is the issue, and that in English you use this interchangeably sometimes, but in Spanish there is a distinction that we need to be aware of. So when I'm saying me voy a la oficina, what I want to emphasize is the place I'm leaving behind. If, however, I say voy a la oficina, the emphasis is on my destination. But even better than thinking about what do I want to communicate is to think what does the listener care about. So imagine that these two sentences are said to either the wife of the person or the boss of the person. So if I'm saying that me voy a la oficina, and I'm saying that from home, who cares about it? Well, my wife would care about it because for her, what is important is that I'm leaving home, is the place I'm leaving behind. That's why I'm choosing to say me voy to my wife, because she needs to know that I'm leaving home. However, my boss, what she cares about is not the place I'm leaving behind. It's just that I'm at the office, right? So if I say voy a la oficina, I would say that to my boss because, again, what she cares about is my destination, where I'm headed, the office. Therefore, if the listener cares about the place I'm leaving behind, then I would say me voy. I would use irse. If what is important is where I'm headed, then I'd say voy a la oficina. Voy a, and whatever my destination is. And if both things are important to the listener, then you could say me voy a la oficina. Your wife probably wants to know where are you going, not just that you are leaving home. So it would be nice to say me voy a la oficina. And you can see here we are using the preposition a to express our direction. However, a quick note is that you could use also ir para a place, but the meaning will be a bit different. The emphasis is on the process, and you can think of it as in English saying to be on your way to a place. So if I say voy para la oficina, it's like saying I'm on my way to the office instead of saying I'm going to the office. And a very common sentence in Spanish I will hear a lot is voy para allá, voy para allá. It's just I'm on my way. Or you can translate more literally, I'm on my way there. This is one of the many uses of para. If you want to learn more about it and when to use por and para correctly, I made a video some time ago. I will leave the links in the description or you will see it on the screen somewhere. But now you are familiar with the distinction of ir as something that we say when the listener needs to know where we are headed, and irse when the listener cares about the place we are living. And now it's time for some practice. Let's see if you really understood. Remember, answer the questions, right? Participate, no seas vago. Let's take a look at this sentence. Si quiero hablar con Juan, tengo que darme prisa, porque a las 5 va o se va al gimnasio. Pause the video. You need to, what would be the correct option? Va o se va. Maybe you are not familiar with some of the vocabulary in this sentence. I'm going to give you the translation. We are trying to say, if I want to talk to Juan, I have to hurry, because at 5, he to the gym. So it's va o se va. Well, the speaker wants to talk to Juan before he leaves a place he's currently at, leaving a place. Therefore, we would say, a las 5 se va al gimnasio. That's what is important to us. I want to speak to him before he leaves. Okay? So now let's look at a more difficult example with more options here. We're saying, Carla es muy maleducada. El lunes a su casa sin decir ni adiós. Okay, so fue and se fue. You may not be familiar with these forms. Fue is the past of ir. Okay? So we are saying fue will be ir in the past, se fue, irse in the past. Y cuando se va a escalar, nunca nos pregunta si queremos acompañarla. Yo no quiero ni verla. Me voy al bar antes de que venga. I'm going to give you a translation of this sentence. It's hard to make a simple sentence that includes all of these examples, and you might not be familiar with some of it. So we're saying, Carla is very rude, muy maleducada. On Monday, she went home without even saying goodbye, sin decir ni adiós. And when she goes climbing, she never asks us if we want to go with her. I don't even want to see her. I go to the bar before she comes. I translated here the English verbs, but doesn't matter, because remember, the fact that it's go in English or leave, it won't give you the right answer always. So you have to think by yourself, even if you have the English there. So what would be? El lunes fue o se fue, cuando va o se va a escalar, o voy o me voy al bar. Well, it's not a 100% right answer here. The other option could be acceptable, but the most effective choice to communicate what we want would be to say, el lunes se fue a su casa, she went home. So the important part is that she left without saying goodbye. She left the office or whatever they were at. And then, cuando va a escalar, when she goes climbing, here the important thing is that she goes climbing, not the place she is departing or leaving. And then the last sentence would be, yo no quiero ni verla. I don't even want to see her. I'm leaving to the bar. Me voy al bar antes de que venga. So the important thing here is that she wants to be away when Carla comes. I hope with these examples now is a bit more clear, this distinction of the relevance of direction for the verb ir versus the place we're leaving behind for the form irse, the pronominal form or the reflexive form. And the last part of this lesson would be the verb salir, which can be quite tricky. Many of my students sometimes confuse salir and irse, and that's for a good reason, because salir could also be to leave. But I added a different translation to give some nuance that would be relevant, which is to exit. And that's not the only meaning of salir. It can also mean to depart or to go out. But let's start with the conjugation, as we did with ir. Salir would be yo salgo in the present tense, sales, sale, salimos, salís, and salen. So let's start with the first meaning and the one that causes more confusion, which is to leave, as in irse, to leave too. But with salir, there is an emphasis in leaving the inside of a place to be on the outside of it. So there's this emphasis on exiting. So we are leaving a contained place, a place that it's like maybe a building or a vehicle, right? Like a bus, a train, or a car. Let's see some examples. I could say, normalmente salgo de casa a las 8. I usually leave home at 8. Or, ¿qué haces fumando? Sal del autobús. What are you doing smoking? Get out of the bus. Get out of the bus. So get out of a place. I leave home. I leave the office. Salgo de la oficina. And notice how in this case we will always be using salir with the preposition de. Salir de un sitio. And if you look at the second example, sal del autobús, This word sal is not sal like in salt. This is the same word, but it's not what it means. It's the command tense, the imperativo of the verb salir. And this is also a cause of confusion for some students when you use salir or ir or irse in the command tense and on the command mood. And sal de aquí would be like get out of here, sal de aquí. But however, vete de aquí is get away from here. So again, with salir, the emphasis is to be out of a place. You are inside of a place and you are out there. So you would not say salir if you are in the square, in the public square, right? Ahora salgo. No. You have to be inside somewhere to be able to salir, okay? So irse, in imperative, get away. Sal would be get out. Different meaning of salir is as in to depart. And this is, again, used with vehicles, with like trains. For example, we could say, el tren sale a las 6. ¿Te va bien? The train departs at 6. Is that okay? So I think in English you could say the train leaves at 6 also. But in Spanish, it would not be very natural to say el tren se va a las 6. No? It's better to say sale, to depart. And tengo que madrugar. I have to wake up early. El avión sale a las 6. But this time in the morning, a las 6 de la mañana. The plane departs at 6. And something you may find useful to remember that salir is both to exit and to depart is to think of the nouns exit and departures in Spanish would be exit la salida, right? In a place where you have to run away if something bad happens. And in the airport, the departures is las salidas. We have las llegadas and las salidas, arrivals and departures. And I have to give a shout out to my friend Paul from the channel Spanish with Cura Paul, which is the place where I got this idea from. He has an excellent video also about irse and salir. So if my video is not enough, please check his channel where he explains it also very, very well. And let's take a look at the last use of salir that we are covering today. And that is salir con, which is to go out with. And it could be with in the sense of friendship, like este fin de semana salgo con mis amigos, no voy a estudiar. This weekend I'm going out with friends, I'm not going to study. And it can also have a romantic meaning, like in English, to go out with someone. Estoy saliendo con Pedro. I'm going out with Pedro, as in I'm dating Pedro. No se lo digas a mi madre. Don't tell my mother. So just to recap, remember ir as to go. You have to answer the question for the listener, where are you headed? That's what he or she would care about. Irse is to leave. Our focus is on the place you are leaving behind. And then you can use ir para as to be on your way. It's a bit more informal, but most of the time you will use ir a for direction. And the verb salir, different meanings. Salir de would be to exit from confined spaces like a building. Salir also could be to depart from vehicles. The train departs at el tren sale a las 6. And as we have just seen, salir con would be to go out with friends or also dating. Estoy saliendo con María. I'm dating María. I hope you found this lesson useful. If so, please give it a like, dale a me gusta. It's gratis and it really helps us. And consider subscribing to our channel to see more videos like this. And if you are into grammar topics like por and para and this ir and irse, I recently made a video about how to study grammar effectively. You can check that out next. Thank you very much. Nos vemos en clase. Soy Alejandro de KeySpanish.